Adella's earning more. I need to show up.
Even just living together, stressful stuff still happens.
Like I walk into a room and then
Crying.
Adella's crying, and I'm like, what's going on?
Hey guys, before we get into this video, I just want to say that we are possibly going to start filming some AskTheAfadis again. So in the comments below, in one of our Instagram DMs, however you want to contact us, drop your questions and we will do a video answering some of them. It could be anything. It can be about relationships if that's what you want to ask us, but it can be about any other things that you want our advice or our take on.
The thing is, real conversations, real answers.
Real conversation. Oh, I like that. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're good. Hope you're well. Yeah. So we got a lot of good feedback from our last video that we did like this, where we talked about 2 years of marriage and what we've learned and stuff. So thank you so much for the reception. I'm gonna experiment, but yeah. We're very grateful. And a lot of comments were just saying, you know, you appreciate how like vulnerable and candid we were and how open and honest we were being and stuff like that. And that was the aim of it. We just wanted to have a really candid conversation,
honest conversation.
We weren't trying to get too deep. That's kind of just how we talk on a regular with our friends and our family. So it was nice to let you guys into that. And so we talked about after 2 years of marriage, what have we learned? But then we were kind of reminiscing on like the early days and after we just got married and kind of the difference between that and when we were just dating. So we're just going to talk about that this time. Just going to talk about, I guess, things we learned pretty quickly after getting married.
Life hits you quick.
Life hits you quick. Hopefully this is just an interesting conversation. If you're like me and you like to be nosy on people's conversations, or if you are in any of these life stages, if you're dating, or if you are like newly married or about to get married, hopefully, yeah, you find it interesting.
Cool.
What did you learn about that? There are a few things for sure. I think you don't really think about you do think about what's going to change, but not like a lot, because essentially the person remains the same. You just, why are you smiling? Huh? The person remains the same. You just you well, in my head I just thought, yeah, I'm just going to be with him now. I'm just going to like live with him and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you learn a lot of stuff.
You know, I was thinking about when I was younger. I don't know if everyone else has done this, but when you were younger, when you were like 16, you'd be like, oh yeah, go to uni, come out, married by 21, 22, kids by 25.
We don't know concept of like years and time when we're younger.
No. Life is a lot more.
I say it all
complex.
The time as well. And being an adult in general, it's just the ghetto. I don't like it. I don't like being an adult. Apart from being married to you, that's the fun part.
Yeah.
I think something that I learned pretty quickly after getting married is that like, I knew that we were going to become one. Yeah. But actually like becoming one in the small things. So things like me not having like secret alone. I don't know how to explain it. Not secret, but when I was not even single, when I was dating you, we didn't live together, and I lived with like my auntie or my mum or whoever. Yeah. I'd be able to just kind of go to my room and shut down if I needed to. I cry a lot, so sometimes I'd be able to.
Go.
No, I was gonna say I'll be able to like go away and have a little cry or just be on my own. But like being married, you can't really do that. Like I can say, Keith, I'm going to my room, I'm gonna chill, but it's not that simple. Like I could literally be breaking down and then Keith would just come in the room and be like, whoa.
Yeah, you know what? To be honest, I was actually thinking about this the other time, one of the last times you broke down.
One of the many.
Yeah, I was like, I couldn't remember you breaking down like that. But then, I guess, yeah, I think it's just because we weren't living together. Because I was just trying to think what has changed. But I guess it's because we're in each other's space.
And because I'm adulting more now. I'm definitely crying more now than I used to. This sounds really depressing, but yeah, you're right. There were probably loads of times when I just have a little... I probably forget about it and not even tell you, but I'd have a little cry. But as you know, my tears don't necessarily reflect the severity of the situation. I could be crying because, I don't know, I'm tired. And so obviously that wasn't something that I'd be like, hey, boyfriend, I just cried. It was just whatever. Whereas now, you're there all the time.
How do you find that though? me being there?
I find it hard sometimes. Obviously, it's good. It's positive because you're like my best friend and you're just always there. And actually, especially at the beginning, it was really exciting. So like going out, I just want to come home. So if I was out with people,
that was a big thing.
Yeah,
I like that as well.
Yeah. I just like excited to come home because my husband's at home. So that was nice. But the hard part of it is just not being able to do stuff silently, like I kind of like to do sometimes. Like even stuff like just having breakfast, or I just go downstairs and just let me make myself a slice of toast. What's that in the toaster? Or like, I wanted some. Oh, you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
stuff like that.
That just happened.
Yeah, I just made one egg, and he's like, oh, I'm egg, I'm Ghanaian. I like egg. That's what you said.
Yeah.
So I think it's little stuff like that because I've noticed even stuff like that would bug me with whoever I lived with, like not being able to just move in silence. I don't know why I don't know if I think I'm a ninja or what, but moving in silence. I quite like just doing something, but with you, I can't just do something.
Yeah, I think it's the accountability thing.
Yeah,
I think it's just in becoming one. I think you everything you do, like you have to kind of not check, but what I do on the day-to-day affects you, if that makes sense. So like if I'm feeling ill, for example, like growing up, I would be like, oh, I'm feeling ill. I would feel ill. I wouldn't really tell anyone until it got to the a point where like, okay, cool, I now need to go to a doctor. But now I can't, even back then, but even especially more now, I've realized that I can't not just be like, oh, I'm ill. I'm just not going to say anything, because if anything does happen, God forbid, I don't want to leave her in a position of, I didn't know. Do you know what I mean? So it's all of these small things that you just have to keep checking in with each other.
Plans that when we have plans. I remember when we first got married. I feel like it might have been me or both of us. I can't remember. We just make plans like we normally would.
That's not me. I'm a homebody.
No, yeah, but it'd be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to see so and so on the weekend, and then you'd be like, oh, but say like we've maybe found something that I've forgotten or whatever. But I'm not used to merging my diary with someone or checking.
Yeah.
But I'm used to it now. We both do it where we're like, oh, I want to see so and so on Thursday. Are we doing anything just to double check, because there's your family, there's everything that I have to kind of double check. That was new.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that. Yeah.
Speaking of family, I think that's a big. Again, it's like things that you know, so you know that your family's marry when you marry type thing. And obviously I spent lots of time with your family, you spent lots of time with mine before we got married, but I think it hits you more. I don't know, it's like official.
Yeah. I'm just saying a lot. No. You know, it's because it's all true. It's all true. Like you have to it gets to a day where it's just like, oh, I can't just not like engage in this conversation, or oh yeah, I'm not going to think about this person, because like our families, we've married each other, but in doing so we've joined our families together.
And the same way we're different, so our families.
Yeah, our families are completely different. So
different. Like it's crazy because I knew I loved your family already, obviously before we got married and vice versa. But things like Christmas, I remember the first Christmas. Our first Christmas we spent with your family, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Our first Christmas we spent with Keith's family, and I was a bit sad. As in, like, I enjoyed the Christmas. It was as soon as I FaceTimed my mum and my sister, because my sister and Gabriel were with my mum.
Yeah.
I was really sad. I can't lie. I was really sad.
Yeah.
And our families do Christmas very different as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's true. Her family is
loud. Yeah.
My family is that, but just a quieter version.
Yeah.
So I could. You know, Gabriel Deku did warn me.
Did he?
Yeah, beforehand, because I think he went through something similar.
What, about my family?
Yeah, with Anna and stuff.
Because that's another thing though, is like, you just think, well, I don't know if everyone else thinks this, but I thought my family was the norm. Or maybe I thought my family was like every other African family, for example. So I just assumed, okay, yeah, I'm marrying another African guy. It's going to be so like similar, but it's really not. And obviously, even if you were from the same country as me, probably will still be different. Do you know what I mean? It's not even about that. I think it's just my family's one way and your family's another way. Even down to like the amount of communication that your family require versus mine.
Yeah, that's true. Like my family, they value phone calls and visiting a lot. Where what I've noticed with Adella is that obviously she phones and calls them, but it's not as frequent as it is with my family. So
my family just send each other WhatsApp pictures.
Yeah, exactly. So where I would be like, oh, Adella, have you spoken to your auntie and da 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 da, and then she'd be like, oh no, we don't really.
I mean, I probably should but it's just not as.
But it's not from the auntie's not our auntie, but her auntie's not thinking, oh, Adella hasn't called or whatever. Whereas my family, like that, they'll let you know if you haven't called. So it's been interesting trying to not push my way of doing things onto Adella and her not doing that to me, but also encouraging her to be like, hey, okay, maybe we should speak to this person. Or and me not over communicating or making a mountain out of a molehill in terms of, oh, we need to go see this person when we don't actually need to and stuff.
And like even learning, there's good things though to pick up from each side of the family, I think, for sure. Like I think the communication thing, for example, my mum would like as well. So learning from your mum is quite good. And also your family's quite generous. They always send us food, which we appreciate.
If you're watching this,
there's that one. But like stuff like that, I'm like, oh, that's nice, because when we cooked, we don't think about it anyway. But maybe stuff like that is good to.
Well, we did that one time. Well, I say that one time. We've done it a few times for a cousin across the road. We cooked and we sent it over. But that's what I mean. The stuff like that where I've picked up from. We picked up from my family.
Oh yeah, boundaries. I think that's something you learn pretty quickly. To be honest, we didn't really struggle with that because when I say boundaries, I just mean like now that we are married and we've got our home, you've come from your family home, I've come from my family home, and now we're making a new family home. I feel like that's really important to distinguish because sometimes people get that wrong and they maybe I've got like one arm in their house and one arm in their family home, and maybe like they're allowing families to infiltrate their marriage a bit too much, and or the complete opposite, and they're cutting their families out and they're just living in their bubble. So finding that balance pretty early on I think it was something that we had to learn.
But I think just on that last bit you said, I've had to learn to. It's not that I've cut my family off, but because we're all quiet and reserved and stuff. Coming out of my family home, I never realized that. Because we always saw each other, I never realized leaving that I had to be like, hey, you know. I don't think naturally I'm a chaser, if that makes sense.
Chase me.
Yeah, you. But I don't naturally. My thing is like if we're cool, I don't need to speak to you for like 2 months, and then when I see you again, it's like nothing has changed. So
I'm like that.
Taking that, coming from my home, it was very easy for us to fall in. Well, for me anyway, to fall into that trap or space of like, oh yeah, I spoke to them like 3 weeks ago, where that's not necessarily good. Depending on the family you come from, it could be good. But for my family, it was like, okay, cool. Now, I am in my own home, and Adella does come first, and my family home comes first. But how do I also make sure I'm still maintaining and pouring into the relationships that I've had before Adella and together with Adella, i.e. my family and friends and stuff. So boundaries isn't necessarily just keeping people out, but it's also allowing people in too. I think that's really important, because people always say, oh, you need to set boundaries, and it's always like a pushing people away thing. But you do need to realize that your marriage isn't just, it is you two together, but it's It's the people that you allow into your marriage, like your friends, your family, and like how you allow them to speaking to you. Like, are you actively communicating with them? Not only communicating with married people, but also people who are single, people who are just about to get married. Like, you need to have. It's good to have a mix of different people. Yeah. That was something that we had to learn.
Mm-hmm. Do you know another thing we had to learn?
What?
Money. Come to me. Yeah, money. When I say had to learn it, I don't think it's that hard for us, was it?
No, no, we've made some silly decisions.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, that's true.
Before that, I remember before we got married. I think we were engaged. I think. Well, just about. Well, you wouldn't know we were just about to get engaged, but me thinking, this was before. It's either before I proposed to you or whilst very early when we were. What am I saying?
Yeah, I hear you.
Thank you. Yeah, tongue tied. I said, we should create a joint account. Do you remember?
Oh yeah, and I said no.
Yeah, and I was in my head. I was thinking, why? Like,
I think I was just being I don't know. I was just being a bit like, I don't see no ring on my finger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was just being like.
Yeah. But in
we're not married yet.
Yeah.
Do you think we should have?
I say, knowing us now, I wouldn't have seen a problem. However, would I advise that to somebody else? Probably not.
I wouldn't.
Probably not.
I don't know why I was being. I knew we were gonna get. I don't know why I said no. I think I was just being like, nah, we're not married yet. Let's.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, it worked out for the best.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, things we learned after we're married.
Our marriage. Oh wow. Our money is one.
Yeah.
That's quite hard in the sense of like, to be honest, I'm quite free with money. I don't really care. Like, I don't care if we share our money or whatever. I think it was the.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like, I don't really care. I don't have a problem letting go of my money in that sense, or letting go in the sense of like sharing an account. But I think it was.
Yeah.
I think it was just the accountability thing again. So I'm like, what do you mean I can't buy? What do you mean you can't buy these shoes? Like, it's my money type thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's our money, and we have goals and plans and whatever for our money. Yeah. But it was still a bit like.
I remember going through the bank balance and then just seeing ASOS pretty little thing. I was thinking
when
it was like before. I think before we got the Monzo accounts.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that? No, we had I was like, it was. I was sitting. You remember? Yeah. I was sitting. We were sitting in the living room. And I was just going through it. I was like, when did we spend money on this? When did we spend money on that?
What, did I do it in secret?
It's not that it was secret. You were just spending. Oh, I don't remember. Yeah, and we had like budgets and stuff. Oh. Well, we tried to have a budget. Yeah.
It is a bit weird though, because like now I've gotten to the point where it's probably bad, yeah, but because you look after the finances in terms of like he does all the spreadsheets and whatnot. I feel like my money's not mine. Even though it is mine, I'll go out and be like, oh, you gave me some money. And I'm like, wait, this is my money as well. But I think because we've decided that you manage the finances, I feel like I ask you, rather than like, because it's easier than me going to the budget sheet and being like, how much do we have? I just say, oh, can I have whatever? So in that sense, I think my brain is now thinking, oh, Keith's giving me money, even though it's our money.
Yeah. You should look at it as our money then.
Yeah. I should. I trust you though.
Yeah,
I should. Yeah.
You should.
I do. I don't.
You don't. Not at all.
I don't. Yeah, I want to say the feminist in me is like, oh, it's my money, but I actually don't care.
Yeah.
How do you feel about sharing money?
Yeah, I don't mind.
You're comfortable.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I noticed. I noticed quite early on. I was thinking, right, this guy's comfortable telling me what to do with my money. But I think you took on the role as like financial whatever of the family, and you just took it on. Like you'll be like, yeah, put your paycheck here, do this, do that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's because I have a plan for us. That's why.
No, I get it. Yeah. I just always think like I'd be a bit reserved, like, oh, do you mind if you just? Whereas you're just like, nah.
You know,
on Monday.
What I learned early on, I think this is more as I don't know if there's any men watching, but what I learned early on is because we split our disposable income equally, I had to basically look at it as like, okay, that's actually okay. Because before, where even when we weren't engaged, there were times where you've earned more than me and stuff. So I would be like, oh, okay, well, Adella's earning more, so I need to do this or I need to do that. And
do what?
I need to pay for this, or
because I'm earning more.
Not that you're earning more, but in the sense of like I need to show up in a type of way,
really?
if that makes sense. So even like paying for your phone bill.
Pay for my phone bill.
Before we were.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
No, it's only because you took it out in your name.
Yeah.
And then I was supposed to transfer the money.
And she didn't. I just let it go. But that's not what was the point I was making. Yeah, so.
Oh, that was nice of you.
That's all right. Yeah, so I had to let go of that mentality because when we're in, I said it before, but like, I said it in the last video, but what's mine is hers and what's hers is mine. So there is no competing with your spouse. In my eyes anyway. I don't look at like, oh, Adella now she's been given a pay rise, I now need to do this. Like, even I've been on furlough and Adella's been working, so it's like all of these different dynamics, but it's understanding that we're one in that sense. So
do you think it was easier though because our pays haven't never been drastically different? It's always been like a little bit. What if I was like double? Would it still be? Do you think your advice would be easy to take?
No, it was at one point. You were working.
I was on double.
Not double. But remember when I was working? I had like an internship.
Oh.
I was working in JD Sports. I had the internship, and then I was teaching dance.
And I was working.
I think so.
Oh, I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
That was a crazy period. I worked 3 jobs at one time.
You like that dad from Everybody Hates Chris?
Yeah. Terrible. I would never advise that. But you had to do what you had to do. And I think that was kind of it. It was like, okay, now I have a girlfriend. Not that I'm trying to prove everything to you, but like I'm not just dating to date, if that makes sense. So it's we had to set a plan for each other. Yeah.
I didn't think about that. We were dating.
Yeah, of course you wouldn't.
Why? Why?
You Miss Carefree.
Yeah, true. Yeah, but I think it's been easy for us mixing our money. I think for some people it might be harder. I remember when you told me to, because before I think I was getting paid my paycheck and then transferring it. And then I remember you told me to make the switch and get my paycheck paid into the joint. I think that one.
Yeah, I remember the conversation. Yeah.
What was the conversation?
Huh?
I just remember it being a bit hard.
A bit of hesitation. Yeah, it took a while.
Did it?
Yeah. Some of that, because I remember saying like, oh, you need to switch, and you're like, oh, I'll speak to this person. But speaking to that person took a while. So
here we are.
Yeah, here we are. Yeah. But money is important. I think for anyone that is wanting to get married, and you're like engaged, or even if you haven't spoken about marriage in your early years or early months of marriage, I think you should set time aside to actually think about it and talk about it. And
wedding.
Yeah, and set a plan.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't have to be like us and put money into one account and like distribute it that way. We have friends who are married that have money in separate accounts, but it's just about the conversation. I think that's something that you need to talk about. I think,
being
and that
open and transparent about your money.
Yeah.
Some people don't really like talking about their money.
Yeah, me, I'm like, hey, Adella, can I show someone our spreadsheet? And then
your friends probably know what I make.
Yeah, it's true. But I'm not
bothered.
We just choose to, with wisdom, we choose people to be open with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be open with everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, don't.
Yeah, don't. I'm not speaking from experience. I'm just saying, like, there's some people I just wouldn't tell my salary to just because.
Yeah. But we look at it, because I speak to a lot of like young guys, and I believe in always just paying. Is it paying forward or paying back? I don't know what the phrase is, but
one of those.
But anyway, just
paying it forward.
Paying it forward to the people just behind me. So helping him with things that I would have got wrong at the time, and just speaking to him about it. And part of that is finances. I think because a lot of the comments were, oh, this is stuff that people don't talk about. And it's true. It's because people don't talk about it. So the earlier you start with other people, the better it is that for the people after them, I think.
Another thing I think I learned is, I don't really know how to frame it, but like being with someone all day or like all night or whatever, living with them, you see, I don't know how I'm trying to say it, but you see all their moods.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like for the first however long, when you're in that euphoria stage of, oh my gosh, I'm living with my husband, oh my god, wife, it's all bliss. But then like, I might see you and you're hyper, or I might see you and then you're like down. Whereas I feel like when we were dating, we just kind of
to each other on that.
Yeah, because imagine like I haven't seen you all week, and then I see you one day a week.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the best you. Whereas now, like, you're seeing me in the morning, I'm seeing you in the middle of the day. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like maybe more so you, but you're seeing like all sides of me, which I think I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm very like
up and down.
Up and down.
Yeah. How do I feel about it? I wasn't prepared. No one came and told me that. Like, I guess you wouldn't think to tell somebody, but no one came and told me like, oh yeah, you're gonna see a different side to your partner, but not a different side in terms of like, oh, how you see them on date night and how you see them in the morning, but like I walk into a room and then Adella's crying and I'm like, what's going on? But I think I learned that I'm not always the solution to Adella's problem.
Oh yeah, that's another thing.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
I'm not always going to be the one that solves things, and nor should I really, because especially us as Christians, like the person who's supposed to help us with the things that we go through is Christ. So it should really be him who we're turning to first. But through Christ, he allows like your husband, your wife, your friends and your family to be outworked in the way that they speak and act towards you. So sometimes the best thing for me in those moments is actually just to be like, hey Adella, let's pray. Or I can just sit here
or give me space.
Or just give you space.
Yeah.
It doesn't. And I've learned not to feel bad about.
Yeah, I still feel bad about it sometimes.
What do you mean?
When I feel like I can't help you. Like sometimes you're like, oh, I'm so frustrated about this, that, and I'm just like, and I'm like trying to give you advice, but it's so like useless, and then I feel so bad. But yeah, I don't know if maybe I just don't have. If I don't have the house out, what I do?
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's true. Because it's like Adella, she's gonna put out a video, maybe a few days after this one comes out. The vlog.
Yeah.
Where.
Maybe. But yeah, I will.
Yeah, where the day is pretty much like an average day. Yeah. Like it's not anything interesting, but she's just talking about the day. Yeah.
I basically tried to film like a day in the life of me working from home. I saw a lot of those and they were quite cool. I just ended up having a really bad day in terms of like my anxiety and everything. So I cried a lot and I was just like, I'm not posting this because I'm crying. But I think I'm going to post it anyway. Keeping up with the realness.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What's one thing, if you could go back just before, like before the wedding day? What's one piece of advice you would give to yourself?
Interesting. What piece of advice I'd give to myself? I don't know, one, save money. Save money, don't buy that sofa, don't buy that bed.
Guys.
You don't need a sofa that expensive.
Oh my gosh. Listen, if anyone tries to say to you, oh yeah, 4 years, 0% interest, don't worry. Just
when we went furniture shopping, I don't know what kind of mood we were in. We were just happy with our wallets. We were just like, yeah. Memory foam, throw that in. Sofa, throw that in.
Yeah, you don't need it. You don't need 4 years 0% interest.
No, you don't
at all. No.
No. But I was actually going to say I got 3. I know you asked for 1, yeah, but 1, save money from now. I wish I've been working since I was 16, and I've said this all the time. I wish I saved from then, but whatever. Save money. 2, I would say like don't fantasize too much, because I'm a daydreamer, right? So I daydreamed about everything like in the future, and I feel like one of the things I might have done is anyways,
fantasize,
about what certain bits of marriage might be like, and it's actually not like that. And not to say it's bad or worse, it's just different. So I think that's kind of like shoot myself in the foot a bit if I do in every situation. I fantasize about my birthday, and then it's like, oh, the reality is actually whatever. So it's a balance of like, yes, being excited, but not like over glamorizing something that might be different in real life. Like even just living together, stressful stuff still happens. Whereas in my head I fantasize just having like this amazing home, peaceful life, whatever. Things like sex, you can over fantasize, and then obviously like the reality of it is good, but it's different from, of course it's always going to be different from your fantasies. So stuff like that. And then the third thing I was going to say is I think maybe reminding myself not to lose myself, because I think it's easy to like accommodate the other person, and I'm a bit of a sponge, so I will like naturally become like the person I'm spending a lot of time with. But I think it's important for me not to lose myself in you, because you're very different to me, which is fine for you, but it doesn't mean I have to be like that. So having to remind myself, actually, no, that you can still be loud, you can still be whatever, you can still be bubbly, you can still be energetic. Keith's not like, Keith knows that I'm like this. He's not like he's telling me to stop. So it's just like being myself and not sponging too much. I'm still learning that last one, to be honest.
Yeah.
What you keep?
One thing I would tell myself just before getting married. Write stuff down. I know that sounds like a odd thing, but like just write stuff down.
Like what?
Like plans, like goals.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And just be like, okay, be a bit more not calculated, but just set like goals and stuff for yourself, for the person you're with. Communicate them together earlier,
yeah,
as early as possible.
First few months or 6 months, a year, we kind of just floated and coasted. Yeah. Even like savings and stuff were just like which is okay. You have to enjoy small before after you get married, but like
and I think just having those things that you can always refer back to and be like, oh yeah, this is why we're doing this, or this is why we want to do a particular thing. And it's not always money. It can just be like, we have a goal of helping people. Like for example, the event you did called Let's Talk About Sex. Like stuff like that, where talking about things, if we set goals to be like, we want to talk about things that people don't talk about, especially as Christians, then maybe we would have done more of those things.
That was like a week before the wedding, or a month before the wedding.
Yeah.
Can't remember. Yeah. Wow. How? Yeah. Cool. Anything you want to add? Anything you do say, maybe giving in a bit, chicks? Here you
go. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think that's most of the things I learned.
Yeah.
Pretty soon after we got married.
And I would have started my YouTube channel earlier.
Would you?
Yeah. Someone told me to start it earlier.
I would have been more consistent. For sure. But the number one thing I learned, I love you. Why you look me in the eye? Yeah. All in all, it's fun, it's good, it's great. You're my bestie, innit?
Cool. Guys, I do have a YouTube channel. I don't know if I'm able to put this in.
Nah, go on.
Huh?
Go on, plug it.
No, I don't know.
Tell Keith what you want to see from him as well.
I have a few ideas.
Too many ideas
in the pipeline, but you let me know.
Yeah, and subscribe. And subscribe to this channel if you're not already. Give it a thumbs up, comment, and whatnot. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye. You do it. Oh.